In symbolic analysis, the phenomena of a story, its characters and events are viewed as symbols, behind whose surface narrative lies a deeper story. This actual story is typically a multifaceted contemplation of a life situation, which through symbols can be examined from a distance and provide genuine guidance on how we should navigate our lives. In the case of Jurassic Park, Alan, the 40-year-old paleontologist, has reached a critical turning point in his life. He has an exceptionally good relationship with Ellie. There is a genuine chemistry between them. They understand each other exceptionally well and are clearly better together than alone. But Ellie has started thinking seriously about long-term commitment and children, while Alan fears what he might lose: his freedom, his carefully ordered life, his identity as an undomesticated king.
Avant de mourir, est-ce que je pourrais avoir du steak haché? Oh mais c'est trop bon. À la maison, j'ai plein de steak haché. Viens dormir. Partons dans le soleil.
Oh shoot, my flight. I'm sorry, kid, I gotta go.
In the opening scene, we can see Alan's self-image. He is at the edge of the world, yet in God's hand, exploring the depths of mysteries, enchanted by the ancient life preserved in amber. Alan faces a fundamental choice: continue dedicating his years to studying ancient creatures while slowly becoming one himself, or choose Ellie, which means embracing family, commitment, and building a home. For Alan, this is perhaps his last chance with Ellie. The previous part discusses how Jurassic Park symbolically represents this internal struggle, with the movie's characters and dinosaurs embodying different aspects of Alan's conflicting attitudes about this choice. The elderly entrepreneur is Alan's image of himself in old age, a light-hearted and amusing figure, yet irresponsible, which leads to failure. The lawyer and the computer programmer represent materialism, and they too must be eliminated from the equation. The chaos researcher has excessively erratic behavior, leading to chaos and his injury. The dinosaurs themselves also represent characters. The plant eaters, the veggie-sauruses, symbolize family. The carnivores are the hunters.
Veggie-saurus.
And the T-Rex is the manifestation of Alan himself, who views long-term relationships and family as the violent domestication of millions of years of freedom-seeking and hunting instinct. Now we continue examining how the story plays out this thought experiment. Throughout the story, Alan increasingly sees the danger and unsustainability of his prehistoric existence while gradually growing accustomed to the presence of children. The very first moment occurs when a baby dinosaur is born in the laboratory and Alan holds it in his hands. What he had only tried to imagine until now suddenly materialized before him as if it were his own child. Then the elderly entrepreneur's two grandchildren appear. An important scene occurs when they spot the sick dinosaur. In Alan, everything else is overridden by compassion. With Ellie, we see that if something needs help, even if it smells, she doesn't hesitate for a moment. Unlike the chaos researcher who would rather remain in the world of principles and immaterial formulas. The scene's message for Alan is that a long-term relationship, a family, is a safe and a supportive environment where you don't have to face troubles alone. According to the story's argument, children become little versions of their parents. Tim, the boy, is a real little paleontologist who has read Alan's book, has critical opinions, but fundamentally approaches Alan with respect. Lex, the sister, can help Ellie because she understands computers.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Lex's line later became the source of countless memes. What does it mean here as a symbol? Unix, invented by two geniuses, became a computer operating system far ahead of its time. One of Wood's fundamental principles is that independent program units can be connected into much more sophisticated functioning units. Using Unix, a higher-order functioning system can emerge from components. Here it also means that the family is a well-known, well-proven model that instead of heading toward momentary chaos, can result in the protection and stability of a higher-order system. One must therefore come down to earth, to the ground of reality. Only this way can the risk of mortal danger be averted. This is depicted in Tim and Alan's lengthy scene with the car stuck in the tree, which alludes to the expression out on a limb, applied to risky situations. The movie argues that children ultimately don't take away from parents but actually give. They appear as additional resources. The world is inherently chaotic, so in dangerous situations, these additional resources can play a life-saving role. Alan realizes that even in their sterile environment, life can appear. Then the baby feeding happens. Based on a later scene, the family could be a paradise of abundance, like a magic tablecloth. However, an external threat increasingly emerges. Apparently, there are only two important female characters in the movie, Ellie and Lex. In reality, the entire island is filled with females, the dinosaurs. The raptors appear in the most direct interaction. Who are these creatures? According to their name, they are fast and hunters, most closely related to chickens or turkeys.
More like a 6-foot turkey.
They are very clever. Their problem-solving ability shouldn't be underestimated, and it's best not to forget they have memory. They have long claws, talons, sharp like a razor. They feast with pleasure on their captured prey while it's still alive. Though perhaps not for long, and the resulting situation might not really be called living anymore. In other words, the raptors are Alan's images of single man-hunting women who are also prehistoric creatures. An interesting image is why the raptors can learn to use a door handle. The kitchen is fundamentally not their world. They don't really find their way around there. An important male character is the hunter, also a projection of one of Alan's internal images. He might think, I'm surrounded by predators, but I was to hunt them, and due to my speed and experience, I won't fall victim. This goes on until he encounters a predator he didn't expect. The hunter's complementary opposite is Ray, the specialist. He is Alan's conception of the domesticated man who has been through fire and water. He smokes his cigarette with great determination while trying to solve every problem, but only gets so far due to his almost jaded, tired lethargy.
We have all the problems of a major theme park and a major zoo, and the computers aren't even on their feet yet.
He is no match for the Raptors. Ray sees that his environment, his home, is falling apart more and more, with ever greater chaos taking over. He believes a complete system reboot is necessary. He heads toward the high voltage, but its control center, sorry, that's what the movie says, leads to a raptor, to which he falls victim. In the case of Alan and Ellie's relationship, it's more friendly in nature. The chaos researcher even asks whether they're actually a couple or not.
You two are, yeah.
Ellie demonstrates that both in her intentions and actions, she is capable of creating and securing a family, a home. One of her major scenes is precisely the restoration of power to defenses that protect against external predators. This is actually about securing the site, or rather, securing the perimeter. According to the recipe, on the one hand, you must follow the conduit of the high voltage. In this, the elderly scientist can no longer help. Only the chaos researcher can.
Okay, following the piping.
The other recommendation can be figured out. Here, there is no place for hesitation. One must decide whether to stay outside or inside. You have to jump. The inhabitants of the dinosaur park, in addition to the danger of extinction, are also targets of the hunting raptors. The raptors fundamentally pose a threat to Ellie and the children, that is, to the family model, and generally to the quality of life. The dangerous situation brings out the tyrant, the king in Alan, and they escape to safety. At this point, the movie suggests that Alan realizes that instead of being the Rex driven by hunting instinct, he could be the king, indeed the emperor of an empire they create themselves. The closing images suggest that Alan is getting familiar, literally, with the idea of children. According to the image of migrating birds, the soul can soar together within a family. However, this is followed by an image of a solitary bird. So how should he decide? In the later movies of the franchise, this situation becomes more detailed. Moreover, in the third movie, Alan returns, along with Ellie in brief scenes, showing how Alan reflects on his earlier decision.
You're still the best. I mean that.
The last of my breed.
And in a later movie, both become main characters again.